Rockstar Gang, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I know I'm early. I'm actually early to today's channel because why not? Why not be early? Because I'm always late. That's why. I'd be late to my own funeral, to be honest with you guys. I would. I'd be late to my own funeral. All right. I'm always late. Yeah, I'll tell y'all 8 o'clock, 8:15. It's 8:30 or it's 8:45. Like I'm always late. You know what I mean? But shout out to everyone in here. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss any new content. I greatly appreciate every single one of you joining this live stream tonight. We got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much to talk about because this offense is in chaos. Like, and that's the thing. Like, one thing we do need to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is it the play calling that's killing Bryce Young, or is it Bryce Young killing the play calling because he's not executing, or is it both? Like, we're gonna dive into that, right? We're gonna talk more about that. We're gonna be talking more about also. We're gonna be talking about more about the injuries, of course. What's going to transpire with that? Why I think Cade Mays is actually better than Corbett, and why I think Chandler Zavala isn't ready, and why isn't Brady Christensen starting over him? Because someone needs to make it make sense to me. Because right now, the fallout from a patchwork O line, what it means for this season. We're going to talk about Legette's struggles, how that also has impacted Bryce Young's performance, in my opinion. And also what the Panthers need to do to protect Bryce Young and to finally get a first win of the season, hopefully against Atlanta. And then, of course, tomorrow night, guys, I will be live to give you my preview and prediction on that game, a full deep dive. But we're going to dive into it. And shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Shout out to wherever you're watching, wherever you may be, whether you're on X, whether you're on Twitch, or whether you're on YouTube. Make sure you drop a follow. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you drop a subscribe. You know, do what you do. Do your due diligence. Okay, do your due diligence, especially for us content creators. It's not just me. It's a lot of content creators out there. All right, for the Carolina Panthers. Right, so do your due diligence and show your support. All you got to do is like and subscribe. Really. All right. I don't expect you to cash at me. I don't expect you to become a member. If you want to become a member, that's the extra mile. If you want to cash at me, that's the extra mile. All my links are also in the description of the live stream. So if you want to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, I would greatly appreciate that as well. Shout out to BetUS. Let's go ahead and get to the sponsorship of the Rockstar Report. As always, betus.com. Sign up for free today. Get 125% bonus on your first bet. And this Miami game, I've got the Miami game on over here. I don't know if you guys are watching it, but I definitely am watching the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami game. I got some prop bets in. I also gave y'all my NFL Week 3 picks. Did a short of that. If you guys want to check that out later on, you can go right ahead. But I do have the Bills winning this game tonight and covering the spread if you want to bet on it. All right. I love that question. King JP, I love that question. JP, I love that question. It's a great question. But is Blake Pauling killing Bryce Young? That is the question. I'm going to say this. I think here's one thing. And I'm going to talk about, because listen, I'm not going to leave Bryce out of this equation of his mistakes either. Okay? So let's bear with me, okay? Before we really get into what I'm about to dive into. Okay. So like, I'm not throwing all the shade at Dave Canales. I'm throwing some shade at him, but not the full shade. All right. Not the full shade. I'm going to throw trust me. There's plenty of blame to go around. Right. But again, this is why I think Dave Canales might be setting Bryce Young up to fail. Okay. At the end of that 2024 season, I felt like this head coach and this quarterback had cracked the code, right? They figured something out, right? And we actually looked like a real NFL offense. And for once, everything was smooth. Everything was balanced. Most importantly, they were catering to Bryce Young's strength. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress, right? And after months, you watch Frank Wright, force Young into a system he clearly wasn't built for when he first got here. And then Canales appeared to be the guy who finally really got it for him. So you fast forward into 2025 and all that momentum, I mean, it's gone, right? The offense looks like it got stuck in quicksand. And instead of pulling Bryce Young out of it, Canales it feels like he's the one that's shoving this quarterback further down. All right. And again, like I said, don't let this go over your head and just think I'm just going to dive into just Dave Canales. Okay. Again, there's going to be there is going to be a part of this segment that's going to be blaming Bryce Young too. Okay. But this whole thing was once looked like a rising partnership that now feels like a sabotage, in my opinion, an intentional one or not, but it's a sabotage at the end of the day. Now, the system that worked, it seems like it's gone and they've gone away from it, right? Because last season you saw, I went back and watched some film, right? And I really sat there and I looked at it and I was like, and I was going back at the couple games. I went back to the Chiefs game. I went back to the Eagles game. I went back to the Falcons game. Really, I mean, you saw a lot of that out of him in the Falcons game. But I went back to these games, right? And you saw Bryce Young really thrive in a very specific formula that I saw. Under center, I formation, some play action, bootlegs that got him on the move. You could notice they threw in some RPOs. But you had a quarterback who actually dictated the flow of the game, and it wasn't revolutionary football, but it was effective, right? And it put Young in these situations where his instincts and accuracy could shine. This year, it does seem like when I watch some of the game film that Canales has shoved him almost exclusively into this shotgun, strip out the variety, and basically neutered the one part of his game that made him dangerous, which is improvisation, right? Right? He can improvise. The passing game in this offense now, in my opinion, it looks predictable, guys. The run game looks dead, right? We were talking about how we were going to be, Canales always has talked about that he's going to be a run first guy. Where's that gone? Right? Where we got 2,000-yard backs. That's still a question to me that something's not clicking. Something's not clicking, ladies and gentlemen. Right? I don't understand why I'm not seeing it. I'm not understanding why I'm not seeing the run game. What's up, Antonio? What's up, Jadarius? Appreciate you joining. Shout out to King JP in the chat as well. And also Amazing K as well. Shout out to you guys. All right. The thing is too, man, it's like, I know the damn run game has looked dead in the past 2 games. It looks like we haven't been able to run the ball, but you can't run away from it when your quarterback is struggling. Now, I get it. You're also, your quarterback isn't doing you any favors because, again, Bryce Young in the last 2 games, in the first 2 games of the season has had what, 5, 6 turnovers? I think it's 6. I don't think it's 5. I'm pretty sure it's 6 because he had an interception and 2 fumbles against Arizona. And then he had 2 interceptions and a fumble in the Jacksonville game. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is 6. So, it doesn't help when your quarterback spots the other team 10 points. So you're automatically down and you're having to play catch up. So I get why the run game's not there in that standpoint, right? But why aren't we using it to get this offense rolling? Why aren't we just pounding the rock with these 2 backs? I mean, every now and then it seems like Canales is about to open this playbook again. And I just feel like he just slams it shut. Case in point, when you go back and watch last week's game, you look midway through, that offense found a bit of rhythm by the final drive, back to the same vanilla garbage that hasn't worked all season. But also, I'll say this. What's up, Jesse? I'll also say this. In that final drive, why wasn't Tetero McMillan targeted? Number 1. But also number 2, Why isn't Bryce just taking what the defense gives him? I think that's another thing that's an issue with Bryce Young is he tries to play hero ball too much. That's why he holds on to the ball too long. He tries to do too much and instead just taking what the opposing defense gives you. And I think that's one of his biggest struggles because we see it constantly. And I think that at the end of the day, he just tries to do too much. Seriously, I think Bryce Young really, like, that is the biggest concern for me. I think he really tries to do too much instead of just taking what the defense gives you. But the biggest issue with him is taking care of the football, and that's another issue. These turnovers, these fumbles, these bad decision makings, he's got to be more sufficient with the football, and he's got to take care of the football. And he needs to just learn when to take a sack and hold on to the football instead of throwing some ducks in the air and letting go or fumbling the football. I mean, it's really that simple. Just take care of the football. Don't try to do too much. Right? You don't have to be a hero every single time. Take what the defense gives you. That's it. And if you do that, you probably have a better chance of winning football games. Right? So, but there's that. But here's the thing. Where's the creativity of this offense? Where is it? Because I haven't seen it. I went back and watched this film. I watched the Jacksonville film. I went back and watched the Cardinals film. There is no creativity in this offense to be found in either one of those games. This is where it gets maddening to me because when you have this quarterback that thrives when things break down, when he has the freedom to make something out of nothing. The kid was a magician at Alabama. You go watch the film, he was good. But also you have to look at the pieces around him. We got to give that some credit too. But late last season, we saw glimpses of the same magic in that NFL last year, and you can't disregard that. But instead of leaning into that, Canales seems to be obsessed with just stripping it away, and you force Young into this rigid, conservative scheme that really, to me, sucks the life out of him, right? It's not just bad for Young, it's bad for everybody because the run game is averaging fewer than 3 yards per carry right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's embarrassing. But again, that's also due to the collective fact that Bryce Young is coughing up the ball in the first quarter and you're down by 10 points in the first quarter. So you're having to play catch up. All right. See, I wasn't gonna leave out the facts of Bryce Young. Okay. Some of you guys think I'm going to. No. He's not off the hook either. Okay. I got two fish on the line. All right. One's Dave Canales. One is Bryce Young. So trust me, I'm not going to let either one of them go. Okay. But again, there's another fish on the line too, and his name is Xavier Legette. He looks invisible. When he does show up, it's not really worth remembering because what is he really doing? Tedero McMillan is the one who looks remotely capable of bailing this thing out. The one guy who doesn't he's that one guy that doesn't make he can't be just the one guy that creates this functioning offense, right? You need more. But this scheme just feels like it was designed to make life harder for every single person on the field. And there's regression across the board. And the ugly truth is Bryce Young looks worse now than he did at the end of last season. So I think some people are going to pin it squarely on him. And again, he has his issues, like I said. And he looks like he has regressed. But let's not also pretend that this is on just the quarterback because coaches are supposed to elevate your players too. You don't bury them under bad schemes. That's why that's why a lot of people want to get rid of Evero because we're tired of this 3-4 scheme that is I feel like that is burying some of these players. The same way that we've been talking about this youth movement, but we're not getting it. right? The same way that we've got Nick Scott on the field instead of Lathan Ransom. It's this. It goes back to that as well. You got to put the coaches. You also have to hold the coaches accountability as well. You have to put it on coaching as well. Oh, don't worry. I'm going to talk about Xavier Legette tonight. Don't you worry. He's in this equation. Okay. But Canales looked like a coach growing alongside, like last year when I felt like we saw a coach and a quarterback growing alongside one another, gradually opening up the offense, finding concepts that worked. Hell, even showing some guts with his play calling. This year, it's the exact opposite. He's taken a giant step back in creativity and in aggressiveness and in adaptability, and he's not holding anybody accountable as a coach either, though. So when the guy calling the shot regresses, so does everybody else. It ain't just the quarterback, it's every player. We see it constantly. And again, Bryce Young, what he needs to do is take what the defense gives him. Don't play hero ball. Don't hold on to the ball too long. You don't have to be a hero every play, Bryce. Take care of the football. And instead of when you're getting pressure and you don't have time to throw the ball away, just hold on to the football. Don't throw up a duck or fumble the ball. That's it. But the thing is, at the same time, I think Canales is Canales right now, to me, looks like a coach who's terrified of his own playbook. And I think the players are paying the price. Like, I think this offense isn't just conservative. I think it's a broken offense. And I think Canales needs to figure out how to rediscover the formula that worked. And so he's not holding these players back. He's actively setting up these players to fail. Bryce Young has to execute the playbook too. But at the end of the day, we're not seeing enough out of this offense. We're not seeing anything out of this offense, really. So, because in the NFL, where the shelf life for quarterbacks is shorter than ever, the kind of coaching malpractice could ruin any quarterback's career, even before it even starts. But again, Bryce Young's got to do again. Bryce Young has to be more efficient and take care of the football. And he's got to execute the playbook, even if it's given to him. But at the same time, I think that's the same thing with Jared Goff. Like, you could make the case for Jared Goff over the years. There was a lot of rumors that the playbook when he was in LA wasn't fit for him, and he goes off under Ben Johnson. I think he revitalized his career, even though he made it to the Super Bowl. But there's a case in point there. So at the end of the day, man, I just think Dave Canales has to be better with the football. All right, Dave Canales has to be more creative, more aggressive with the play calling. He's got to stop second guessing himself. He needs to adapt this offense to today's NFL, and he needs to start holding these players accountable. Plain and simple, man. Hey, I hear you, King Jermaine. I hear you, King Jermaine. I'm just saying, man. I'm not saying that he's got to dummy it down. I'm not saying he has to dummy it down, King Jermaine. What I'm saying is that he needs to be more creative. He needs to step back into that creativity. He needs to be more aggressive with the play calling, and he needs to adapt to how the NFL is now. When you're a head coach that calls the shot regresses, so does everybody else, especially your head coach, especially your offensive play calling. It's the same thing with the Giro Evero. So again, at the end of the day, again, I'm not saying dummy it down. I'm saying please show me some creativeness. Be more aggressive. Well, I said the same thing, Eric, but the problem is, Eric, you can't run the ball when your quarterback spots the opposing team 10 points. And again, that's why I said Bryce Young needs to be more efficient with the football, take the sacks when he's sacked, and when he gets sacked, hold on to the football. And don't be throwing these lame ass ducks in the air, because that's when you spot the team 10 points, like we saw in Cardinals with that interception that he threw up when he got hit. And then for Canales, like I said, I just need to see him be creative once again, be aggressive, and adapt to what the defense is giving you. Because a head coach is supposed to be able to elevate the players around him if you're a really good head coach. It's the same way we say about Bryce, or we say about quarterbacks in the NFL. If you're a good quarterback, you should be able to elevate the guys around you. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? So, at the end of the day, it's on both sides, really. I don't think one's killing. I don't think the one's killing the other. I think they're both shooting themselves in the foot. I think that's the way it is. I think they're both shooting themselves in the foot. Well, again, that's the problem, King Jermaine. It's too vanilla. It's too predictable. You just said a basic plays. Defense can sniff out basic plays super quick in the NFL. That's why I'm saying that you've got to be more creative, be adaptable with what the opposing defenses are giving you, and be aggressive. And if Bryce Young shits the bed, then that's on Bryce Young. Yeah, Rock, you hit that on the head with Mike Shula, that's for sure. But don't just take back the creativity. Don't take back the creativity and the aggressiveness just because your quarterback is shit in the bed. Hell, Xavier Evero doesn't adapt to the players on the field. Why should Canales? I don't disagree with you there, King Jermaine. I don't disagree with you there. But here's the thing. I think one thing is about Dave Canales, that Dave Canales said something about Bryce Young that kind of stuck with me recently, and I saw it. I don't know if I agree with it, guys. I don't know if I agree with it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen here. Be aggressive regardless. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. Just be aggressive regardless. All right. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. So this is what he said about Bryce Young. There's a quick clip. Make sure my volume's up. All right, here we go.
Yeah, super high. There's stuff. Obviously, Bryce would come up here and say he'd like to clean up, from the first two games. But I'm fired up about where we're headed. In a game where we had 90 plays, you get a lot of information about the other guys that come in. Bryce and Jermaine making a couple of plays. Hunter continuing to get comfortable in there, and certainly T-Mac, because this is 2 games in. So gathering a lot of information about our group as we continue to play was exciting. To be able to just learn that, it's
So here's the thing. What's up, T Green? Can he? The question should be, Jadarius, can he be just a game manager? Not an above average. Can he just be a game manager at this point? Right? But Dave Canales is kind of spot on about Bryce Young and the truth because, again, let's start with the numbers. On paper, you go look at Bryce Young's yards. He's got 4 touchdowns. He's got the yards, which is kind of crazy to think about. He's got 4 touchdowns. And you think it looks on paper, when you look at the stats on paper, and I'm saying on paper, keywords here on paper, chat, it looks like on paper he's taking a step forward. But right next to those stats are turnovers. Every single one of them were ugly. 2 came from free rushers. That offensive line apparently decided they didn't need to block on that play. Austin Corbett. Yet then you actually watch him play. There are stretches when you see Young and he looks downright spectacular. You're like, oh, he can still sling it, still processes quickly, still make kind of plays that remind you why we invested in the future for him. The problem is the flashes are flashes. They are mixed and a back-breaking mistakes. This is why Canales isn't like, I guess maybe this is why we see Canales say these things like this, why he's not panicking, because he thinks that he sees what everyone else may think, right? Maybe because there's people out there that believe that Bryce Young is far from broken. But again, I keep telling you guys this, that all Bryce Young needs to do is stop trying to win games with one throw. That's it. I mean, I'll give Canales. Here's the thing that I'll say one thing about Dave Canales, and I'll give him his flowers on this. He's far from the typical coach defending his quarterback narrative. He's not pretending. He doesn't think that Bryce Young is flawless. He flat out admits that there are things for him to clean up, and he's not wrong. And I appreciate that for him, because the turnovers are killing us. The slow starts are putting us in holes. And that offense has, as a whole, I mean, man, looks like it's stuck in first gear, man. You can't even get it out. That's the thing. That's the thing, man. And Canales is also playing the long game, right? The Panthers ran 90 plays on Sunday. 90. That's a ridiculous amount of film to break down. And trust me, I went back and watched it. All right. And Canales treated it like a gold mine, because he's trying to figure out which receivers actually run routes with worth a damn, which concepts Young is comfortable with, and which plays need to be set on fire, never called again, which there was plenty of those out of that 90. I'll tell you that. But it's not coach speak. It's the reality of the thing here. He's collecting data on what the hell this offense is good at, if anything. And I'll give him credit. That's exactly what a head coach should be doing right now, because when you go back and you go watch the film, the second half that changed the tone, the biggest reason for I think that's the reason why Canales is also this optimistic guy, and he continues to be this, but I still think that sometimes that he's just blowing smoke up our ass, because of what you see in the second half on Sunday. Like, again, Bryce Young, again, in that second half, I'm going to give him some flowers here that he did look more, he looked sharp, he looked poised, he looked a lot better than he did in the first half. Let's just say that. He wasn't rattled, even after the mistakes. Like, that's nothing. Plenty of young quarterbacks fold after a rough start. And I went back and watched the film. I'll be honest with you guys. The Cardinals didn't run a prevent defense as much as I thought they did. I'm dead serious. I went back and watched the all 22. They didn't. They were running the same scheme. I think what happened is that Dave Canales actually made an actual adjustment to their defense, because I saw a total different offense in that second half. We all did. So I got to give Dave Canales the credit there. I got to give credit there because I went back and watched the game film. We just made the correct adjustment. Okay? So, I mean, I'm going to give credit there. But here's another thing. Dave Canales, and here's the thing. And I'm going to give Bryce his flowers too. Even the good thing about Bryce going into that second half, he didn't stay rattled, even after all the mistakes. That's something you got to hold your hat on, okay? And I'm going to give him that, all right? But here's another thing. Canales also admitted to in one of his press conferences that he screwed himself. And that we pull off that onside kick and we had the chance to steal the game, and Canales admitted that his play calling was crap. There's the accountability I've been waiting for, but I want to see it with the players. And again, that's something a lot of these coaches don't do, and they avoid that kind of conversation like a plague, because instead of throwing his quarterback under the bus, which I still think he needs to hold Bryce Young accountable, he owned his mistakes as well. And I think that matters from a head coach standpoint. So I'm going to give Canales his flowers on that. But here's the thing. The real test is coming, ladies and gentlemen. We're going into week 3. That real test is coming. And that real test is that the harsh truth here is that this offense isn't good enough right now. You got this offensive line that's in a mess, which we're going to dive into tonight. The run game is non-existent. But again, when I still go back to the fact that when you're down by 10 points in the first quarter, you have to play catch up. You got receivers who dropping the balls. To make things worse, 40% of the starting line is gone. Again, this is a nightmare scenario for a head coach, for a quarterback, for anybody. All right. Let alone one still trying to, and especially a quarterback that's still trying to establish himself. But I don't have any confidence that's ever going to happen. And I think another thing is Bryce Young's mistakes matter. Again, the fact that Canales is still riding with this kid is the only realistic move here. Andy Dalton isn't going to save this team, so you really don't have a choice. I don't think we saw what. Listen, I got a lot of love for Hendon Hooker, right? I thought he was a major talent coming out of Tennessee, but we've seen him in preseason. That guy ain't. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's just it ain't it. Whatever that is, that ain't it. All right. There's no backup in this league right now that is would help this team. Unfortunately, I hate to say this for all you Bryce Young haters or whatever you want to call yourself, but Bryce Young non-believers, whatever. I mean, I'm not the biggest believer right now either, but unfortunately, I hate to say this, but it's true. I mean, this is Bryce Young's team, for better or worse, at right now. And Canales is right to double down. Now, here's the thing. This is year 3. Justin Fields in year 3, after year 3, he was out of Chicago. I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens here. Bryce Young doesn't turn it around somehow. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So another thing is too, Bryce Young is inconsistent as hell right now. I mean, the turnovers suck. The offense looks flat. The Panthers are already flirting with disaster. But Dave Canales is backing off isn't backing off Bryce Young. I mean, I think that's exactly how it should be, because you don't have another choice. What else are you going to do, man? Young has to figure it out, but Dave Canales also has got to make some changes. Like I said, again, we've seen enough flashes to know it's possible, and we know that it's possible. But again, flashes don't give you shit in the NFL. Like I said, almost doesn't give you shit in the NFL. Here's the thing. If it doesn't go well, especially after, during this Atlanta game or after it, at least Canales won't be the guy who benched him for Andy freaking Dalton. Because I'd rather rock with Bryce Young right now than Andy Dalton. And I say that with a whole lot of confidence. Sometimes the people need to realize with this whole situation that the truth is simple, that Bryce Young has to be better. Dave Canales has to be better as well. I mean, at the end of the day, that's it. I told you what Bryce Young needs to do. He needs to be efficient with the football, take what the defense gives him, manage the game, be just a game manager, man. If you got pressure coming at your face and you don't have time to throw the ball away, just hold on to the ball, take the sack. But hold on to that football, right? Don't throw up ducks. Don't fumble the ball. Just take care of the football. That's it. Be efficient. That's all you got to do. And then Dave Canales, be creative, be more aggressive, and adapt to what the defense is giving you. And start holding guys accountable. Plain and simple, man. Shout out to Flame for Jesus with that $5 donation. Shout out to him. I appreciate you.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
I'm in a wrestling mood, man. I might use just the wrestling ones all night. I don't know how many of them I got. Then he comes in with another $20 donations. We have other problems besides Bryce. We're playing the best team we've played so far as talent on the defense, offense. We are going to see about this defense this week. See how that did replacing talent. Shout out to Flame for Jesus once again, hitting with that $20 donation. Thank you for continuing to coming through and blessing the channel, man. I appreciate you.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Appreciate you guys. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the live if you can. I greatly appreciate that. All right. If it's anybody watching the Miami game, because I am right now. All right, let me pull up my PowerPoint back up. Where'd it go? Sorry about that. There we go. All right, I'm gonna pull this back up. Pull this over here. Share my screen. There we go. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about this. Because I'll be honest with you, I've been wanting to have this conversation all week. I've been wanting to have this conversation all week with you guys. Okay? Seriously. I've been wanting to have this conversation all week with you guys. So here's the thing. I think this front office, when they made this offensive line, right, the whole mindset was to have depth in mind, right? Continuity, familiarity, versatility. Those were supposed to be the safety nets in case of injury struck, right? The problem is nobody expected those safety nets in case of injuries, struck. The problem is the problem is nobody expected these safety nets to be tested so soon, and not this severely. And now just the first 2 weeks into our season, we're already losing the spine of our offensive line, really more or less on at the right guard position. Because I feel like Robert Hunt is part of that spine. Him and Damian Lewis are part of that spine, right? They create that whole spine. And again, you've got a quarterback that just looks like shit right now, and that's the last thing you need when your quarterback is playing the way that he is. Now, unfortunately, we heard the news on Monday. Robert Hunt, Austin Corbett, both headed to injury reserves. I knew that was going to happen. I don't expect to see Austin Corbett or Robert Hunt back. Now, again, good news today. There was some confirmation that Robert Hunt went under a successful bicep surgery. He was in LA where he got it done, according to the sources. And his renowned surgeon named Neil L. Artretch performed the procedure. And they have not laid out any recovery timeline for him yet. But again, successful surgery for Robert Hunt, which is the good news. Okay. Now here's the thing. Again, realistically, none of those guys are coming back, right? Now, Robert Hunt, that torn left bicep, again, had the surgery. Good thing it's good. But the thing is that you lose a guy like Robert Hunt is a guy who just comes off his first Pro Bowl nod. He was just signed last offseason, would have been a leaky mess of a line then. And then you've got Hunt and left guard Damian Lewis in the fold. Carolina went from giving up a jaw-dropping 65 sacks in 2023 to only, I think it was 26 last year or 36. Someone fact check me on that. But that's not just improvement. That's a miracle in trench play, right? But now, with Hunt being done for this year, we have to, why we're pivoting to Chandler Zavala is beyond me, because this is a guy that's not ready whatsoever. Who's talented, but he's a raw and streaky type of cat, man. And that's a hell of a drop off for him. Now, again, when we talk about Austin Corbett, I mean, you're talking about a guy's knees that have, and I'm going to take the words out of Marcos Cash's mouth, and who always says this. I mean, what did you expect from Austin Corbett? A guy whose knees is made out of hamburger meat, to be honest with you. Right? Like, the football keeps kicking this guy in the knee, man. I mean, you're talking about a grade 3 MCL. The same knee towards the ACL in 2022. Then he later re-injured the MCL in 2023. This isn't just bad luck. Again, this is borderline injury prone, and he should have never started. Football, and I get it. I like Corbett. I like him as a person. I like him as a player. And he said it, even himself said it best, that football sucks, but love this game so much. That's not just pain talking. That's a man that's realizing that this is now 4 straight years with a major injury. I would not be surprised if Corbett just says, you know what, man, I'm done. I don't know how a guy like this can keep going. I mean, we know that this guy is officially out for the season. Let's be real. A complete MCL tear on top of his history. The best case scenario for this guy is that he limps back later in the year. Worst case, most likely I think he's done. I mean, there's just no doubt about that. But it's not the biggest blow in my opinion, because again, I think Corbett, I don't think Corbett was the better center to start. And maybe that pisses a lot of people off. I don't know. I don't think losing Corbett is as catastrophic as it's being framed. Why? Because I think Cade Mays is better. I've always thought that after what I saw last year. He's younger, he's sturdier, and most importantly, he proved last year he can step and handle business when Corbett went down last year. And honestly, Bryce Young seemed more comfortable with Mays snapping him the ball. And honestly, this offense looked cleaner with him in the lineup. And I think chemistry matters, and Mays has it with Bryce Young. Corbett, not so much. So while the headlines are screaming Panthers lose their veteran anchor, I'm looking differently. And to me, honestly, I actually think this is an upgrade. Call me crazy. Call me crazy, but I do. I think he's a better center. Shout out to everybody in the chat. T Green, what's good, my guy? Flame for Jesus, what's a ridiculous stat? Clay, you're crazy? Yeah, I'm a fucking psycho. I'm a psycho.
Does he look like a bitch?
Does he look like a bitch? But I mean, here's the thing, man. The real question, though, I'm going to ask this, man. And someone in the chat, please, just tell me. Just tell me. The real question is why Chandler Zavala starting over Brady Christensen? This is the biggest head scratcher to me. Chandler Zavala is sliding into Robert Hunt's spot. And I'm going to be honest. I know this kid ain't ready. He wasn't ready last year. He hasn't looked ready this year. And throwing him into the fire again feels like setting him up to fail. So why the hell isn't Brady Christensen starting instead? This is a guy who's versatile as hell, first off. Christensen can play every position on the line, has shown he can do it at a high level. That's literally why the Panthers brought him back and paid him. And if he's sitting there on the roster, why in the world are we plugging Zavala like he's earned it, man? That is the thing that makes no sense to me whatsoever. You have a proven, reliable veteran who can stabilize that line, and you're choosing the guy who's inconsistent, injury-prone as well, and unprepared to project instead. This is where I start questioning this coaching staff because I feel like that's malpractice, plain and simple. I do. I don't get it. Yeah, his BFF grades ain't good, bro. Ain't good. Bryce never trusted Corbett center. No, how could you? You saw botch snap after botch snap. Mays has been the better center, always has been, for sure. In my opinion, he has too, Vietnam. They definitely need to. They passed up on Graham Barton. That's the thing. That's another thing, man. Like, we go back in the draft. We went and skipped on Graham Barton, the guy who right now, okay, first off, Graham Barton, by the way, from Duke. If anybody remembers him, okay, he started out at left tackle when he was playing at Duke. And Duke transitioned him over to center, I think, his last year. And didn't allow us. I think he allowed one sack or not a single sack. But the guy is that's the way I look at Brady Christensen. I think Brady Christensen's like a Graham Barton. You can play him anywhere on the field, right? You know what I'm saying? So, again, but we definitely need to get one. Another one we missed on was Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. I remember breaking him down on when we were doing mock drafts. That's another guy you missed. Trying to think if did we miss the guy from Oregon? Jackson, or what was it? Jack Powers Johnson or Jackson Powers? Someone put his name. I remember him, but I don't think we could get him. I think he was a first round pick. The Raiders took him, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure the Raiders took him. Someone fact check me on that. That's another guy we missed who's a stud. Both Mays and Zavala got pushed back in the quarterback the last drive. I had us winning those those first two games. That was 2 of my 5 wins. I'm down to 0-17 as my floor, 3-14 as my ceiling. Shout out to Flame for Jesus. I understand the way that you feel, Flame for Jesus. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying I understand how you feel.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
See what else comments we got. No reason at all Brady Christian is supposed to be our best backup. Zavala is a young man The old man's mind and soul. Your best available 22 should always be in the field. Over Nick Scott, yeah. Bryce's uncatchable balls thrown is 21%. He isn't the greatest with accuracy. He tends to throw behind the receivers high. Andrew Rom did good his rookie year. Should have kept him. He was okay. Too great. I wasn't like astronomical about him. I thought he was all right. I thought he was average, to be honest with you. But I just watched the first 2 drives for the Bills and Dolphins and just don't understand why Panthers football always struggles with the most simple offensive plays. Sighing, shake my head. I hear you. Guys, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. All right. The more you like, the more the algorithm gets out there to maybe people who don't know the Rockstar Report. So make sure you do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button on your way in, on your way out. I know that you're probably watching the Thursday night football game, but I appreciate everyone that is in here and is joining the live stream and showing your love and support. Clay, they thought we needed weapons for Bryce. They drafted a hurt running back over centers. Yeah, that's one we'll never get back. Playing for Jesus. That is one that we will never get back, unfortunately. But it is what it is. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So back to this offensive line, man. Here's the thing, man. There could be a ripple effect with this because again, your quarterback Bryce Young right now, we all know is playing like shit. Right? He's playing inconsistent football. He's not taking care of the football. He's not being efficient. He's trying to play hero ball, trying to do too much. Your coach is not being creative and aggressive and adapt to the opposing defense. His play calling has been atrocious. He's even admitted that. But now your offense, when it's already sputtering, which is plagued by turnovers and all this uninspired play calling, like I was saying, and your run game's averaging fewer than 3 yards a carry, and then you lose 2 linemen. It makes things worse. Like remember, this isn't just about Bryce Young staying upright and having time to make the throws. This whole offense is fragile already. Like Xavier Legette can't get out of his own way, man. Like literally walking during a hurry up sequence. That's one thing that keeps going back in my mind. While we're trying to scream tempo here, right? And again, we got your head. Of course, again, this head coach is still defending him, and Young calls him a luxury, and the team is sticking by him for now. But the reality is that Legette looks like dead weight when your quarterback has a O-line missing 40% of his starters and receivers who can't separate or consistently catch, besides the name outside of Tetero McMillan. Turnovers have become inevitable. This isn't development. This is about survival, man. Canales has faith, but faith doesn't block pass rushers. Canales is trying to keep these spirits up and blow smoke up our ass, and he called Hunt and Corbett 2 studs and praised them for their leadership and worth ethic and their presence, but he's sticking by Young and publicly defending Legette and framing this as an opportunity to learn what works in the offense. That's all fine and dandy, but words don't block 300-pound defensive tackles, and pep talks won't keep Bryce Young from getting folded in half. The truth is that this Panthers offense and continuity up front could just have evaporated. Now, Hunt is likely gone for, like I said, Hunt is likely gone for the season. Corbett is definitely out for the season. And now the offense is already shaking and hanging on by duct tape. That's where I'm getting at with this whole situation. That is the reality of the whole situation. And so, I mean, I thought that they built an O-line deep enough to survive injuries. I did. But instead, in 2 weeks, they're down 2 starters, an 0-2 record, throwing Bryce behind you're throwing a quarterback that's already having issues behind a patched up unit against the defense that looked really good against the Vikings. I think they had 6 sacks in that game, if I'm not mistaken. And they had like 2 or 3 turnovers. The silver lining is, though, Cade Mays actually will be a blessing in disguise, in my opinion, because he's already shown he can handle the job and has better chemistry with Bryce than Corbett ever did. But Chandler Zavala now being in, you got to put Brady Christian in there in the starting lineup. You should have done it yesterday, not Chandler Zavala. I mean, that should have been done yesterday, bro. That should have been done yesterday. Commander 336 says week 1 was about realization. Week 2 was about acceptance. And week 3, here comes the collapse. Shout out to Commander 336. That's a great comment. It's that's a harsh reality to swallow. That's for sure. That is a harsh reality to swallow, Commander 336. Let's move on. I'm going to say this, man. We're going to talk about Xavier Legette real quick. 38 turnovers in 30 games equals 6-24 record. Bryce has had 17 fumbles and 21 interceptions in his career so far. No more excuses. Well, for some of those Bryce Young believers, they just have a sense of imagination. You know? Right? It's the truth. It's the truth. But if things don't change, man, I'll tell you this. This is going to be me on every Sunday.
1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary. 1 beer.
Yeah. That's going to be on me on like every Sunday, every Panthers game. You know what I mean? Hey, Clay, do you have any film from last year when Zavala stepped in at left guard? I'm sure I could find it. Vietnam. I would have to go back through a bunch of all 22 film. I have it on the NFL.com plus app. I would have to go back and watch it. What's good, D Perkins? Didn't Jesse Bates pick off Bryce twice in his first game? He sure did. Nervous. He sure did. Appreciate you didn't have to bring that up. I have imagination. I'm not wasting good liquor on my Panthers. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. All right, let's get into this real quick because, again, I got to talk about my guy, Xavier Legette. You know, me being a Gamecock fan, this conversation really, I mean, it hurts me. It hurts me. Because there's also some rumors out there that there's also some trade rumors out there, which I'm going to show you here shortly about Xavier Legette being traded that I saw today on X. We've got so many problems on this team, man, with how this team has stumbled out the gate and everything. And, you know, Bryce Young being inconsistent, the play calling, you know, and then you got, you know, and then you got these injuries on the offensive line. You got injuries on the defense as well. But what the problem is, the Legette problem is also alarming, though. It is. Because he's looked like a bust. At this point, I hate to put the B word on him, but he has looked as a bust in the making. Now, again, do you put that on Bryce? Part of it, do you put that on Bryce Young with the throws? Yeah. Right. But, you know, but if we're not giving excuses to Bryce Young, right? Here's the thing. Do we give the 3-year thing to Legette, or is it like put up or shut up for Legette right now? I don't know. because we see the same issues popping up, right? The drops, the inconsistent effort, the inability to separate. All of this is killing his value. I mean, and when I'm saying he's not separating, I've seen plays where he's not separating. I've watched the film. But there's also times where he has created separation and your quarterback is missing him. So there's that as well. Right? I mean, you've got guys out here balling like Keon Coleman and Lad McConkey that we could have taken over him and we didn't. Even Ricky Parasol. But the fact that this guy, the lack of urgency on that play was just downright embarrassing. You expect that from maybe like an undrafted free agent clinging to the roster, but not some former first round pick. But here's the crazy part, man. You can see the difference between a guy who's picked at number 8 overall and 31st overall or 32nd overall. And then you got him now on the injury report because Canales revealed that they shut him down. Legette was shut down in practice midweek with a hamstring soreness. Not ideal for a guy who's fighting for his relevance. And Canales tried to downplay it, saying it was precautionary. But let's be honest, when you're moving so poorly in practice that they yank you off the field, it can't just be precautionary, man. That there's a kicker here. There is something else going on that we don't know about. This isn't new. Like Legette dealt with the same issue last summer, limped through in his rookie season, and had it flare up again in training camp. It's becoming a pattern, and patterns get coaches and quarterbacks killed in this league. I'm just saying, man, like there's something, the math ain't mathing. That's what I'm saying. Also nervous. That's why I had Legette as a breakout candidate because I thought that it would take attention away from him. I agree with you. That's why I had him as a breakout candidate. But see, you still got Dave Canales and Bryce Young defending this guy because Dave Canales isn't throwing him under the bus yet. He's sticking with him. He's saying the workload won't change if the wideout is healthy. That's admirable. But the patience in the NFL and in this fan base, they've got him on the hot seat. You got fans that wanted this guy, but now they're saying trade this guy. That's the crazy part now. You got fans now saying and I'm talking about Carolina Panthers fans who are saying that wanted this guy and they're saying to trade him. I don't think Xavier gets a bust. I'm saying that he looks like a bust right now. I'm not saying he is one. I think there's a lot of potential to look at. I think there's also you could also make the case that Canales isn't using him correctly. I've always thought of Xavier Legette as a Deebo Samuel, that gadget style player. You know what I mean? So it's like, so here's another thing. You got Bryce Young, right? He might be the only person on earth calling Legette a luxury. That's the exact words that he used at a press conference. And I'll show you that real quick. Let me pull up the clip real quick.
Any sort of frustration, anything like that. We've communicated like I communicated to everyone else. That's where I'm having a guy like that out there is it's a luxury for me. It's a luxury for this offense. We all as an organization have a ton of faith in him. So there's no sort of there hasn't been any of that. I communicate with everyone. We're all communicating. but there's no sort of negativity that I feel like towards him whatsoever. He's great.
So there's your own quarterback saying that. That's your own quarterback saying that about him. And that's the thing, man. Like, to be fair, I mean, Young's never said a bad word about his teammate in his life, though. So this isn't shocking. Shouldn't be shocking to anyone. I mean, he defends Legette. He defends Legette the way he defends everyone else by popping, by propping them up in public, whether they deserve it or not. If you peel back the PR friendly layer, it's clear why Young feels the need to talk Legette up. On paper, a big body, fast wideout supposed to be exact what this offense needs. In reality, Legette's production hasn't matched his traits. Now has it? So there is that disconnect that makes Young's job harder because the offense, like it or not, is tied to whether Legette can figure it out, because you can't just rely on T-Mac to be the only receiver on the field catching the football. Okay? I mean, the frustrating part here, probably for Bryce Young has, is that he constantly it seems like the only person he can rely on is T-Mac. Maybe Davion Sanders, maybe Hunter Renfrow have more confidence in them now. But right now you can't seem to trust Xavier Legette. And again, the frustrating part is we keep saying, well, Bryce Young's shown flashes. We've seen the flashes. But he's already, he's thrown for, 400 and something yards. He's put up 4 touchdowns. But again, he's also looked flat a lot of the time. He's also turned over the ball 5-6 times now. And again, I don't need Xavier Legette to go out there and be some like Jerry Rice. I just need him to be competent, run the right routes, catch the damn ball, give the quarterback a reliable option besides Tedron McMillan. I don't feel like that should be too much to ask from a guy you draft in the first round, no? Because your quarterback is trying to make this offense competent, at least somewhat. The run game, again, I keep going back to this. The run game's averaging fewer than 3 yards a carry. You got an offensive line now that is, you got an offensive line right now that is decimated with injuries. It's really not ideal. So no wonder the kids, and I think that's another thing that's also has been forcing Bryce Young into turnovers as well. But again, the clock is ticking on Legette. The hamstring or not, the pressure's on this guy too. Because again, we've got fans already wanting this guy out. They want him traded. But every week he has trot out on the field and fails to produce, and the noise is only going to get louder. I mean, your head coach and your quarterback can say all the right things, but at some point, reality wins. And if Legette doesn't start producing and fast, the Panthers will have no choice but to scale back his role. It's not just about him, ladies and gentlemen. It's about you got to protect your quarterback and give this offense a fighting chance, because here's the cold hard truth. If Legette keeps playing like this, he's not just hurting himself, he's hurting the whole team. And in the NFL, and in the NFL, that's the quickest way to sink your career and out of a franchise. Doesn't sound like Jimmy Horn's getting any burn. I know that people keep asking about that question, but Dave Canales says that he hasn't worked out his role yet, which tells me that Jimmy Horn Jr. must not be doing good in practice or something. Something's not adding up there. Something's not adding up there. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. I would greatly appreciate that. But let's move on to these trade rumors, because I'm going to go ahead and pull those up real quick, because I want to show you, because people are probably going to be like, well, where'd you see it? Where'd you see these trade rumors, man? I mean, I found these two. I think even Sports Illustrated had it, but I found it on this. I mean, here's two of them right here. One's by Sports News Times, and one's by motorcyclesports.net. I think, let me see if I can find the one by Sports Illustrated. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find one. Yep. Here's another one. So yeah, it was on Sports Illustrated, like a legit source. So fake news article. No, it's not fake. I'm pretty sure Sports Illustrated is as a reliable source. So I don't know how that you could say that's a fake source, but okay. Last time I checked, I'm pretty sure like Sports Illustrated's like been the ESPN of sports magazines for over 30 plus years. But well, I mean, what do I know? It's not fake news. I don't pull up bullshit. Anyways, so here is the article that said that a trade scenario that links to Panthers struggling Xavier Legette. And in this news article, it's talking about this trade rumor. Right? And according to this, that there are two teams linked to Xavier Legette as a trade target, as in the Steelers and the 49ers. So we've got this whole rumor now because of his struggles have been so glaring that analysts and all these insiders are already linking him to multiple teams. Pittsburgh Steelers and San Francisco 49ers. And then you've got Christopher Knox, who's from the Bleacher Report, that according to this article, suggesting that if the Panthers were to trade him, that we would get a conditional 2026 third round pick that they feel that would be, and they say, according to Bleacher Report, they feel that would be fair. Maybe it turns into a second rounder if somehow, he flashes production. But at this point, I would say that's wishful thinking. But let's put this in perspective. Let's say Carolina traded, let's put this in perspective. Carolina traded up in the first round of the 2024 draft to select Legette. He was supposed to be a high upside wide receiver who could immediately contribute. And instead, what have we got? I hate to say it, we really haven't gotten anything. Now, again, we talked about it earlier. Is that on Legette or what? I don't want to trade him. That's not what I would do. I don't want to trade him. Right? I think Legette's rookie campaign, the excuses were understandable. Half the season was chaos in the passing game. Rookie receivers often struggle to make an impact, but this year in 2 games in, and it's a dumpster fire. Like, Legette has caught 4 of 15 targets, 8 yards. I mean, 8 yards. There's no tempo in that. And no, you can go look it up. It's not a typo. You go. Here's the thing: you've got the 8th overall pick in Tedero McMillan, who's definitely established himself as the wide receiver 1 without question, which leaves Legette stuck as an afterthought. And with the Panthers perpetually trying to, I guess, formidably get this rebuild complete or continue to, build off the rebuild, more likely to, but it looks like we're more likely to draft the first overall than sniff the playoffs. There's a real incentive to get something for a player who isn't producing. Now, still some value left I think before you write off a guy like this. Legette's still a guy who's 6'3", 227 pounds. He's a physical specimen. I never thought he was a first round talent, in my opinion. I graded him around the 2nd and 3rd round in that 2024 draft. His tools haven't vanished overnight. If you go look at Knox's notes in this article, he says that this makes him a high risk, high reward target for teams with weak receiver depth who are willing to take a flyer. A conditional 3rd rounder, again, that could possibly upgrade based on his stats and is a reasonable asking price. Does the trade make sense? I'm not going to say that it doesn't. Do I want them to trade him? No. But does the trade make sense? Yeah, it does. Especially for the Steelers and 49ers, who are both dealing with questionable receiver depth and the cap space of draft flexibility to roll the dice and are the obvious shooters. But for Carolina, it's a chance to cut losses and recoup a mid-round pick. Sure. You could say that. And then you can focus on McMillan and other emerging talent like Jalen Coker. But for Legette, a change of scenery, would it change his career or save his career? I don't know. Could. This could also just be a Legette sophomore slump. And then maybe he comes back in his 3rd year and blows it out the water, right? So, again, am I opposed to trading him? I see no point. Do I think it would be a fair trade for what they're saying that we would get from what Knox is saying we're getting? Yeah, I think it's a fair trade, especially if he goes over there and if he leaves here and puts the stats up, because it seems like everybody else that leaves here ends up putting more stats up. That's just me. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold are perfect examples. But do I want to trade Xavier Legette? No. I still think there's a lot of potential that has not been cracked yet. So, what did you say here? We drafted XL knowing he'd be a project. That's why we went up to go the first to go get him. So, we could have another year of control. He has such an upside. I would hate to see him go only to blow up, right? That's the thing. Shaky. We need to stop drafting projects and short quarterback experience. But we need to trust the scouts and give us some real ballers like T-Mac. It's true, except for Mingo. God, don't even bring that up. Don't even bring that up. Mingo. What's he doing nowadays? How's he doing over there in Dallas, man? How's Mingo doing over there in Dallas? I don't even think he's played a fucking snap yet. What's up, Poppin? Appreciate you coming through, my guy. Hope all is well. Guys, I'm going to hop off of here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this night. I just wanted to come on here and talk about some things that I was going to talk about yesterday, but I was not able to go live yesterday. I was able to get some shorts out to you guys So make sure you go look at the shorts. I gave you my NFL picks for this week. I also broke down the college football rankings. I also broke down the NFL power rankings for this week as well. So go check that out. Bro still hasn't scored a touchdown, Mingo. Yeah. So make sure you guys go check out the shorts if you haven't already. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I will be breaking down the preview and prediction tomorrow night of the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. I'll be breaking that all down, giving your offense and defense preview. Of course, my prediction of the game, score prediction, and all that. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night around the same time, same place. And as always, guys, love you. God bless. Be safe. And keep pounding. I'm out. Peace.